On this episode of The Starting Five, we'll talk about the absolute insanity on college campuses right now in America. Across our nation, we're seeing anti-Semitism metastasize like a cancer. We have to stop it and stamp it out right where it is right now. But it goes further than just anti-Semitism. The loss of freedom of speech on college campuses, only for conservatives though, is incredible, devastating, anti-American. So we need to have a longer, deeper conversation about anti-Semitism and the loss of free speech on every college campus in the nation where it's happening. There is a choice, however. Fire the president of those universities, take away their funding, and let Americans with common sense attend colleges where common sense is still pretty common, like Charleston Southern University. Go Bucks.
How much longer can we do?
This is America's Starting Five.
Okay.
Well, the college president should be fired.
Period.
You can't sit here and watch this kind of foolishness. Listen, when I was in college, they kept the campus safe. If somebody was messing around, they pulled you out of there, they arrested you, and if you still persisted, you got reprimanded, suspended, or you could get expelled. To allow this is nuts. I've never seen anything like this. Look, these stupid people in their masks, they're not impeding me from going to the library. There would be a confrontation. And I think look, nobody wants violence. We shouldn't have that. But we can't let this stuff happen without confronting it, because they're expecting everybody to not confront them so that they can run to the cameras and dominate the coverage. Can't allow this kind of stuff.
This is the slow march of Marxism into our college campuses. It's been going on for decades, and we're finally seeing it as it's come out. But at the end of the day, I tell you, we're seeing cowards, the same people putting a mask on, the same people teaching hate as the same folks that I saw growing up in the 60s. The mask or the hood and hate. Yep. And that's not who we are. We will stand against that, and that's what our country's going to be abhorred by what we're seeing here.
I tell every college president in the country, your federal funding, it is a privilege. It is not a right. What is a right? A right is for a Jewish student to walk to class peacefully, for a Jewish student to go to the library and study safely. What we need to tell these folks is that, especially the ones who are international students on visas on our college campuses, your visa is a privilege. If you're going to shout hate to America, we should revoke your visa and send your hind parts home to your country. You don't have to be in America. As a matter of fact, go home, hit the road, Jack, and don't come back no more, no more, no more.
Well, I think it's amazing how fast the anti-fascists became the anti-Semites. Our future generations are probably going to look back and be ashamed that they were so gullible, because that's exactly what's happening. These same people who march chanting Black Lives Matter, and again, as chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee on Africa Subcommittee, 1.26 million Ethiopians murdered just in the past few years. You look at what's going on in Sudan. Hundreds of thousands of people. You look at the sex slavery, the rapes, you look at 90% of all the Christians killed in the world are killed in Nigeria. You don't see one rally. You don't see one speech. And this is because the Russians and the Chinese want to push us out of some other places, and they don't want eyeballs on this. The white liberal elites who are running these campuses, twisting the minds of our children, frankly, have taken us in the direction for quite some time, and their purpose is to divide, to maintain their power base.
Think about this. We can go to October 7th, and these kids have no clue about that. We can talk about the Americans are murdered. The Americans are still in hostages right now. What it's been shocking is how little intelligence we now have in these college campuses, I believe. You're supposed to be working hard for years, prepare for this, and here we have folks who cannot speak, cannot articulate themselves. They're hated, they have hatred. So it says a lot about the colleges, what they're doing to allow this flow of anti-Semitism, divisiveness, white and anti-whiteness, all those things that's been going on. DEI has been happening on our college campuses. We're now seeing it. The good things, we now see it. And I'll tell you, as you mentioned earlier, we're not going to stand for it. The dollars we can start pulling back, and we're going to start doing that to make sure our outcome is what we need to be for sure.
Every time I turn around, what I see happening over and over and over in these marches and in these tirades and on these college campuses is not only the silencing of conservatism, but it's the silencing of Americanism. If you believe in freedom, if you believe that your rights come from God and not man, they silence you. They push you off the campuses. They actually only want to obey the laws that they write. That kind of selection leads to lawlessness, and that lawlessness is the breakdown of the very foundation that is America.
We see cowardice, we see bullying, and we see pure hatred. And we're also seeing pure cowardice. We see college professors who have no idea how to deal with this because they have never had to work through a hard time. They've never been an entrepreneur, never figured out how to deal with an issue and how to hold people accountable. Accountability, as you mentioned before, sending these folks back, don't let them come back no more. You see college kids that are now are kicked out of their campuses, cannot finish their degrees. They will realize, I made a big mistake. I did not need to be coming here to do that. And that's what it's going to take, accountability to make that work.
Everybody pays that price, though. At the end of the day, when your college graduation is canceled, everybody pays that price. When you're watching the police raid campuses, everybody pays that price. But who loses the most? It's the most vulnerable people in a nation that loses in a lawless America. Hey, thank y'all so much for watching The Starting Five. More episodes coming every Friday. God bless you.